So welcome everyone to our next What's Up Wednesday series. This is an important one if you're an engineering student to know what the college is going to require in terms of a laptop computer. And we have Jeff Phillips, who's been around longer than I have. Jeff, you were you
Wow,
were you were here when I got here, so I don't know how much
amazing.
longer. But
At least 5 years, at least.
Okay, in our IT department. And we are also very lucky this year. Jeff and I were saying that they actually got the fall requirements solidified earlier than they do many years. So Jeff has definitive information for us today, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. So welcome, Jeff.
Right, thanks. Let me see if I can share screen here. Get
You
my
should be
slides
able
up.
to.
The date on the first slide is wrong because I was updating them today. We got done real early this year. So I'd say this will be on the end too, but the email and the phone number there would be helpful if you have any further questions. June 12th is not the day today, obviously. Um, But yeah, so the my colleague David, I don't think he's here right now, but I'll be covering his part as well. So this year the computer requirement hasn't changed much from last year. It's still a pretty beefy machine. Um, so let's see here. I'll go through just a bit. I suppose I don't need to read them in too detail because you guys can see. But basically, Windows, unless you have a good reason you want to be using Windows, Mac OS sometimes if you're a CS major, but Chrome OS, things like that are not supported. Most of the engineering software runs best on Windows. It's Windows software. And if you use a Mac, you can sometimes do that with using some software, virtualization software, which we'll talk about some more. Processor is last year's and this current year's Intel Core Ultra series. So if it's a Core i something, that's probably not the right one. If it says like I and like 13th gen, they started over last year in 2024 with Ultra 579 and Series 1. And so I expect Series 2 to be out here in like March or April, but a Series 1 is going to be plenty fast enough. And then the AMD, if you're interested in AMDs, I would take a screenshot or write these numbers down or look at them on our site, which I should remind, yeah, right here, https engvt.edu/it/requirement. All this info is available there. So you don't have to, remember it all. 32 gigs of RAM, it's quite a bit, but you're going to be using some powerful software. And an important thing to note about the reason that this requirement is pretty high is this computer needs to last you 4 or 5 years. Um, so, if you can buy another computer in 2 years, you may be able to scoot by with a little less, but most folks want to do this once. 500 gig hard drive is the minimum. Most of them come with a 512 or a 1 terabyte, which is double that. 4-year accident warranty or 4-year warranty with accidental damage. We strongly recommend that warranty because, 4 or 5 years carrying that machine around in a backpack from class to class, things happen. Screens cost $700 or $800 to replace if they're broken and you don't have a warranty. So that's just for your benefit. Graphics card is required, a discrete graphics card, which is basically what I've got there in red. Intel graphics explicitly don't meet the requirement. Most of the ones, like if it says integrated Intel, Intel Iris Xe, none of those really are going to meet the demands of your software in the later years. So yeah, 4 gigs of video RAM at least. NVIDIA or AMD, most of them come with an NVIDIA now, but AMD makes some good ones as well. And for backups, so Virginia Tech no longer offers unlimited storage for students. That stopped about a year ago. And so therefore we recommend either an external hard drive or if you have a cloud, service. I think I personally have a Google Drive. I think mine's like 100 gigs, but I haven't filled it yet. But I'm not doing a lot of engineering student projects, and I do most of my work on my work computer. But you can always, with those cloud things, you can always start at a low level, and then if you need more space, buy more space. So that's the straightforward. I figure I'll go through these things, and then you guys can ask questions towards the end if you'd like to. Let me see here. So there's a couple of questions that we always get asked. Do you have to buy from the bookstore? You don't. There's advantages to it, such as the support is local, and things like that. And their prices are competitive. I would check there. I would check other places and see where the price is what you need versus the specs it has. Be sure wherever you look for a computer to check the price of the machine and the warranty together, because those warranties can add hundreds of dollars to it. And you got to compare apples to apples there. Talks about what the graphics card's used for there. Hold on one second. I've got that Zoom bar covering my slide now. If any of you guys have just used Zoom, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right. So the engineering and university software bundles is the next topic here. There is an undergraduate software bundle for all students who are not, grad students. And these prices are what they cost a couple years ago. They usually waver $3 to $5 from year to year. They might be like 75 and 115 or something, but that's roughly the price. The undergrad software bundle comes with Windows and Office. Even if you have that, through home or through high school or something, or a family plan, the school still requires that you purchase that, because that's a license that's, a site license, and all the students use the same one, the same version. Everybody's connected through the email system and all that. And that does work on all your machines. So if you come to college with 3 computers and you want to install Office and Windows on 3 computers, no one's going to say anything. And, if for example, you have a Mac, you're licensed with that to install Windows on the Mac. So, there's a variety of things that solves. The engineering software bundle is just some of the projects or the products you'll use in various classes. The list here: MATLAB, SolidWorks, various other things. There is a huge list of other software that you may use in your classes, some of it paid for, some of it not paid for. And you'll find all of those. I may have to jump a page. Yeah. Sorry. There's the link there. Sorry, I forgot how to use, what's it called? PowerPoint? Yeah. So itengvt.edu/software/undergraduate software. I may actually show that page real quick, just in case people are curious. Let me put that on. Can you guys see the web browser I just put up? Is
Yes,
that
we
just
can.
okay?
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. I forgot you're the only one who can talk, Kim. Yeah, so this page here, undergraduate software, if you're curious what software is used in your major, you can go to that software, and it's linked right off of our College of Information or College of Engineering computer requirement. On the side here, additional software. So let's say you're an aerospace and ocean engineering major. You can look in here and you can go, okay, there's that. We use that. We use that. We use this. Scroll through the whole list of quite a few products and find out what's used in your major. And then you can do some of your own discovery. Like if you're like, well, I think this will work fine on my Mac. You can check and see what's used in your major and whether that runs on Mac, etc. So we've got a lot more information here than we used to about what's available or what's in use in each major. All right. In a month or two, we'll have a purchasing portal on that site as well, which will just give you a couple links to various places you can buy. One is the bookstore, another is a CDW portal usually. Meanwhile, you can buy your computer pretty much anywhere you want. The ones listed on the bookstore are not the only options. There's hundreds of options, which is why we have those specs, and it's what can make it really challenging sometimes, is because you have so many options, you may be overwhelmed. You can also get in touch with us and we can help you narrow those down. And basically our general warning is if you're not going to be a computer science major, we recommend not bringing a Mac because CS really fits well with those. The work they do after the first year pretty much is works very well on a Mac. You can be a CS major with any kind of computer really, but the first year stuff is really hard on a Mac. Yeah, so there's also, if in order to run Windows on a Mac, you'll need a virtualization software. The one we use is called Parallels Pro, Parallels with an S in it. And some software still may not run, but it's getting better every year. Let's see. I wanted to plug our Software Assistance at Triage SWAT office. That acronym was made up a long time ago, but basically it's our engineering undergrad student computer support office. And you can come by there, give them a call, drop your machine off in person. You know, they can walk you through all sorts of issues with it. So it's basically, you know, tech support, but you've already paid for it by being an engineering major. So you can go in there and get help without paying or anything, like Geek Squad, but free. Um, well, I should say prepaid. And I guess really that's pretty much the extent of it. I guess one question we always get asked is that you know, where can you get your software? So as soon as you've paid for that, if you go to let's see here, network.software.vt.edu, that is where you can download the software. It doesn't come installed on any of the computers wherever you buy them, the bookstore or otherwise. But you know, the second you've started paying the bill, you'll be able to go get the undergrad bundle, and the engineering bundle comes out pretty much a week before or the first week of classes. But we don't really recommend buying all of or installing all of that immediately because you'll just fill the hard drive up and you might not use some of those products for another year. So anyway, that's the presentation part. And now we can go through whatever questions people might have or anything Kim wanted to add.
I, the one thing I will say is the SWAT office is amazing. We're lucky to have that resource. They are super helpful. They're easy to access. You can go in and they are wonderful people to work with. They're definitely gonna help you. So don't forget that it's there because the odds are at some point something's gonna go wrong. You're gonna be panicking. You're gonna be worried. It's wonderful to have a place like that for the engineering students to go. And they're super nice. They're very, very helpful.
Yeah,
So
most of the techs are students, so they're going to be
yeah,
in the same boat as you guys.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's 2080 Torgerson Hall, which I don't think I have on my slide.
But
So
it's
yeah, you
very,
can
yeah,
go in and there's
very,
all their contact info here. I'd take a picture of this slide
yeah. Can
personally.
you, Jeff, can you send me those slides?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, because I keep a folder with all the What's Up Wednesdays presentation slides. So because there is a lot of dense information and a lot of really excellent links on these slides. So if you send them to me, I'll make sure that I upload them
Yeah, I'm going
into
to
that
make a
folder.
note to do that right now so I don't
Yeah.
forget and you'll be like, where are they?
I do have a direct message question.
Sure.
Um, is the engineering software bundle per year or is that a one-time fee?
Both of them are one time in your freshman year, and then they last until your undergrad degree is over. So hopefully for you, they last shorter time. If they last 8 years, you've done something bad. Anyone else had any other questions for you?
There's another one. It says, did I hear that we don't need Windows laptops if you're a CS major?
If you're a CS major, you can get by with a Mac. However, you still have to get some kind of software, like a virtualization software or an emulation software, so that you can run Windows on your Mac. So, and that requires like splitting out a part of your hard drive to be assigned to Windows. Much of the software you use will the first year especially will still require Windows. So it's more like you can use a Mac, but you'll have to use Windows on that Mac as well as Mac OS and flip back and forth between them.
I will say a lot of the CS majors that I know do have Macs.
Hmm. It's not frowned upon. It's an extra bit of work for the student. And I wouldn't really recommend it if you're not a CS major, because some of those courses in some of the other, like I'll give building construction example, because they say, they're partly responsible for the graphics card requirement. That's some of the software they use is just mind-bogglingly requires all these resources.
And yes, Avery, you did hear correctly that the undergraduate student bundle and the engineering bundle, that's a one-time fee. It's good for hopefully your 4 years undergraduate. Jeff, is it, if you're like many engineering students and
Mhm.
you take an extra semester, you still have that software.
Oh yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
still have it. That's why I said it lasts until
It,
your undergraduate degree is over, so
yeah.
hopefully not more than 4 or 5 years.
Um,
You
the
get your
ne-
degree and leave, and you have to leave the license here.
yeah. The next question is, in that bundle, do they get Windows Pro or Windows Home?
The Windows they get in there is, I believe, an education version that is equivalent to the Pro. It's better than Home. It's it's effective. That's what we use in our office, and we have less ads than the Home version. We have more powerful versions of some of the apps and stuff. But it's an education license. I think it's E1 or something like that.
The next question is, any recommendations from experience regarding the reliability of low-end versus mid-range versus high-end options? Laptops that meet the requirements range from 1,000 to nearly 3,000.
Yeah, I would struggle to find one under 2,000 that meets the requirement. I think I can find one yesterday or day before for 1,700 that meets the requirement, with like a 2 or 3 year warranty. You're getting up into like the 2,000 to get anything that has a 4 year warranty and meets the requirement. If you find something that meets these specs and is $1,000, I would love to see it. Because it's A, that's either crazy, or B, I need to look at it because it might be amazing. Um, but yeah, it's you kind of get what you pay for, like everyone always says. Um, One of the things that does make that even that playing field a little bit is the warranties. Like if you get a computer that's, the lowest end that you can get, but you have a 4 year warranty, if that thing breaks 3 times, the company fixes it 3 times. You might be a little put out. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention about Slide or SWAT, you might be a little put out that you have to go borrow a machine from SWAT, but hey, you can borrow a machine from SWAT. And that is also no charge if you have problem with your computer that you've purchased and you give SWAT some evidence that it's out for repair, like emails from the vendor, whatever, then they'll just be like, all right, borrow ours. And so that's very helpful.
I will say I have seen an awful lot of very stressed engineering students when something does go wrong with their laptop. Engineering's hard, guys. It's really hard. And if you don't have to, you do not want to add stressors onto that. And believe me, if your laptop goes down for any reason, yes, you can get a loaner from SWAT and it's great to have that resource. But I think a laptop is so critical to everything that you do every single day. It's not an area to skimp on. It's really not. You do not want to add the stress of having to deal with, your laptop not working on top of the stress of being an engineering student at Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
So,
we recommend business grade machines, which does cost a little more, but they generally, they're a little sturdier. I tend to find that some of the business grade machines are a little less cool looking. Like if you get like a super thin laptop that's made out of shiny, platinum or whatever, it's really thin and dents easily and you might drop it or whatever. Some of these machines that aren't as awesome looking and have a plastic case are surprisingly more durable. So
and
it's more about what you're going. The words you want to look for, like business grade, workstation, things like that. Gaming machines, I have a couple things to say about gaming machines. They're fast and they're powerful, and also they have bad battery life, and they have potential to burn twice as brightly for half as long, if you remember that quote from the Blade Runner movie. But that's probably some of these kids probably haven't seen Blade Runner, but you know what I mean. It's like they're really, really powerful, but they're like a hot rod, they might not last as long.
And
So
you're going to be lugging that backpack everywhere. You need something sturdy. It's going to probably spend more time in your backpack than anywhere else. So again, it is not something it's really not something to try to save a few bucks on.
yeah. So the
Um,
goal here is really to get you through the whole degree with one computer. So if you have different goals, then that might affect it. But otherwise, that's why we're doing this to you, or doing this hopefully for you.
Another question says, my current laptop is Windows Pro with 16 gigabits of RAM. Can I
Mhm.
get by year one?
Probably. I don't want to say too firmly on video, but first of all, I would check that machine and see if it has the ability to have 16 gigs more RAM put into it. Um, Depending on what company it is, company it's made by, and if there's slots in it or not, you may be able to put more RAM in it and meet the requirement. But one thing I do tell people when they ask these questions is we don't send someone out to check your laptop. So if you bring something that you've already purchased and it doesn't work, the penalty is you have to go get something that does work so that you can do your work. Not, we're not going to be coming and checking. It's just like what's going to be best for you to complete your assignments.
Okay, the next question, do we need to purchase both the undergraduate and engineering software bundle or just the engineering?
Both. The undergraduate is your Windows and your Office and your that type of stuff. And then the engineering is very specific software that only engineers buy. The undergrad bundle every single student who comes to Tech pays for that. And engineering is just special people.
All right, and I think this is a follow-up to the 16 gigabit RAM
Mhm.
Windows Pro. The same person says it is a ThinkPad T14.
Okay. So what you would do there is I can't do it on the call here, but what you'd do is you'd Google the ThinkPad T14, or if you have the manual, you would look in there, and you can actually find service manuals on those things on their sites in the documentation support section. You could literally look at the Lenovo site, and you can call us and we'll help you do it too, and find out, does this machine, if I open it up, take out 5 screws, does it have a slot I can put more RAM in, or is that RAM soldered onto the motherboard permanently and you can't add more? Depending on the answer to that is whether you can expand it or not, or whether you have to get a new one to get a higher speed. I will say that the ones that tend to have everything soldered on are Surfaces and Macs. But every other company is getting that's another thing about the smaller and lighter ones. The smaller and lighter and sleeker they get, they're super thin, and you know what? The first thing that goes is slots, because they can solder something flat onto a motherboard in a lot less room than they can put a slot to stick something in and remove it. So does that answer everything, hopefully?
I think so.
Yeah.
They said, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think so.
Check the sites. If you can't find the manual, call us. We'll try to hunt for it too.
Okay. Next question, is there going to be a way to purchase a computer through a portal or something similar to that?
Yes, that's the plan. Probably in a month or two, we'll have a portal that'll go to most likely CDWG, which is a company that sells computers. And we plan to make that. We did this last year, the first time, and we're going to try to do it this year as well. I think they did it like 10 or 15 years ago back, but it's been a long time. But anyway, yes. So you'd go to our site and then you'd click on the portal there and you would go and you'd pick like, okay, well, I like Dell. And then there'll be like 3 Dells that we've said these meet the requirement. I like Lenovo. There'll be like 3 Lenovos that we say those meet requirement. There might be a couple of Macs and it will say, the same thing. If you're a CS major, try one of these, but otherwise try not, you know. But there will be a portal like that coming in probably a month or two.
Yeah, this is earlier than we've ever done this particular session, but they did have the requirements set, and it had to do with availability of our other speakers. We had to switch a few things around, and Jeff was kind enough to move his session earlier, so we could
Thanks.
accommodate some other people.
We hope
Right.
to get this done sooner every year, but in the past, we haven't had the computer requirement ready until March. So this year it was done in December. Because a lot of people do ask early, and we're just like, all right, let's just try to actually support that.
The next question, it says, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this or not. In previous summers, the VT bookstore has had a 30% one item, 30% off one item deal. Do you know if that deal would include laptops?
You're right, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. That'd probably be a bookstore question.
That would definitely be a bookstore. Oh, hey, I have their stuff on the slide, by the way.
Oh, the bookstore, yeah, Hokey
Yeah.
Centric, yeah.
We have a symbiotic relationship with them. We don't demand people buy stuff from them, but we don't discourage it either, and we do work with them to make sure everything that they sell, which if you look at their site right now, by the way, it's still got last year's stuff on it. So if you're looking to buy a computer right now and you're looking to buy a computer from the bookstore, call them, don't buy off their site.
But if you want to know about the 30% off, you're probably going to have to call or email.
That's true.
All right. Any other questions while you have the expert in person, not in person, to yourself?
Sort of.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you a minute to think of anything else. Just a heads up. Next week's session also probably really important and really critical. It's called Navigating Calculus. And people come in with all different levels of math and scores and classes, and there are many ways to get your calculus credit. So it is we added this particular session last year because there were so many questions and so much confusion. There's the ALEKS test that you have to take to see if you qualify to take Calc 1. So it's really, really critical. The math and foundations of engineering are the 2 requirements now to move into your major. So you really do not want to mess up your calculus sequence, so you can get into your major. And we're going to have Christina Martin, who oversees, she did our STEP Summer Bridge program. So she works a lot with entering freshmen. She also oversees our Clark Scholars program. So she spends a lot of time working with students, especially freshman students. And yeah, calc is probably the number one thing that comes up. So she really is an expert on how to get through that and get those requirements done and what it's going to take. So please join us for that one. There is one more question here. Will there be a tablet required for the engineering program?
Yeah, that's something that we had in the past, and we no longer require tablets. If you really like writing on your computer, you know, it can be useful if you like taking notes on the machine in your, you know, on the screen in your class. That can be good. It tends to limit what you can buy that has, like, often you'll find that you can't necessarily get a pen and like a really good graphics card in the same computer, or if you can, it raises the cost significantly. So the software but that comes from a thing that we used to require that, and it hasn't been required for 3 or 4 years now.
Right, but you probably, Avery, you probably, if you Google, it probably comes up somewhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's an old requirement. It's not required any longer.
They're still nice.
Yeah, and I see a number of students, I think more students even with, iPads that they like to write on top of it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think more of a personal preference thing.
Yep.
All right, well, we're finished a little early, but I think we got all the questions answered. Oh, I've got somebody in the waiting room, but it's a little late. As always, I've been recording. I will have the link to it. Jeff is going to send me his slides, and I'll make sure that those get put in that What's Up Wednesday folder. And then hopefully we'll see lots of you on with your questions about calculus. Think about that. Have questions ready to go. It really can be a confusing topic, but Christina's really good and she knows all the details with that. And we'll give everybody back an extra 25 minutes that you thought you might not have. And thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Kim. Thanks to all of you. Good luck.
All right.